I'm really upset about the Pahalgaon terror attacks. I keep getting, it's part of my job. So the more you learn, the more it upsets you. It's quite tough to deal with that. And I think everybody feels the same way as I do.
So, ma'am, in light of this attack, do you think are we doing enough? And whatever we are doing, is that right?
If you remember 1971, what our Indian Navy did, corrupt government to be less corrupt. I personally thought corruption was like a major human rights issue.
From which ideology of BJP do you most strongly stand by?
BJP is the only party that would allow me to speak on all the issues that have hurt me and that impacts so many women. But because of this fake secularism, nobody wants to talk about it. Because everybody wants to be very cool, oh, these are secular people and those are communal people, without even knowing what they're talking about.
Namaskar and welcome to Fem Forward podcast. Today we are honored to interview the national spokesperson of BJP, Ms. Shazia Ilmi. We'll be talking about her struggles as a journalist and her achievements as a politician. She has made a lot of impact on our country and I can't wait to discuss more about it. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Very well. Thank you, Smriti. Thank you for inviting me. It's
How
good
are
to be here.
Thank you. How are you feeling today?
Ah, a whole lot of emotions. I'm really upset about the Pahalgaon terror attacks. I keep getting, it's part of my job. So the more you learn, the more it upsets you. It's quite tough to deal with that. And I think everybody feels the same way as I do. We're getting more and more news about what actually transpired there. So that is upsetting. It's like a big stress point, I think, for all of us. Apart from that, yes, thinking of what to do next. There's 2 shows waiting, one important meeting I've done, and office stuff. So yeah, lots.
But you enjoy this kind of life, the
I
busy
enjoy it.
routine, and
I thrive
you thrive.
in this chaos.
That is lovely. So, ma'am, you were born and brought up in Kanpur, and
Yes.
I heard one of your talk shows, and you mentioned that during those times, महिलाओं की आवाज सुनी नहीं जाती थी.
बिल्कुल भी नहीं सुनी जाती थी. So if you had a mind and if you had a voice to go with it, you were clearly a daughter nobody wanted. You were clearly a sister nobody wanted. You were clearly the future wife nobody would ever want. So it was all wrong, wrong, wrong. And in fact, I was thinking about it just last night that I don't know how some people live their lives like that, because you want to be free, you want more from life, and it's beautiful. And I can't imagine, I used to go to school every day in this rickshaw from my Chamanganj, Kanpur home, and where we lived in a cloistered world. It was like cloying and claustrophobic and cloistered and all of those. And you step out and you sit in the rickshaw and you go to school, and there's another world out there. And you hear and you meet your friends there. And sometimes you go to their houses and you say, oh my God, it's easy to live like this. You can actually wear skirts like my friends did, and you can just roam around and plan your future instead of it being pre-decided by a society, by a world out there. So yeah, that was fascinating for me.
But, ma'am, abhi bhi bahut zyada times have not changed. I mean, we have evolved, but there's still a long way to go.
Yeah, it is. I live in a somewhat prosperous society. It's like a lot of people are extremely well-to-do, well-educated. But when I hear some stories, the whole male-female equation, it's the same.
Yeah.
The expectations from a bahu,
Yeah.
the expectations from your own भाभी or wife, it's like हमारी घर की भाभी ऐसी हैं, हमारी घर की बहू ऐसी है, ओ हमारी बेटी तो ऐसी है. And it's like, it's very typical. Nothing has moved beyond a point. I'm sure it's moved in very small pockets.
Right.
And those people have decided to live differently. And parents-in-law also are looking at that change. But apart from that, no, not really. And the best, example of that would be, the best testimony to that would be your matrimonial columns.
Right.
You pick up one and you, in fact, forget about matrimonial columns. You go to these sites, matrimonial sites, and you realize just how stuck our society is on certain values.
You know, it may sound as a cliche, but still there is a question about, do you know how to cook? There is still a question.
Yeah. And cooking, cleaning, looking after the house, it's just a woman's, domain.
Yeah.
It's her domain. So if a man wants to help out, it's like almost like an exception, and it's not part of the deal at all. So I'll tell you something really funny. So typically in my house, Abba, my dad, was more liberal than my mother. Ammi was really conservative. So for instance, Abba was far more liberal than Ammi. And when I look back, when I look at my own brother, he's far more progressive and liberal and open-minded than probably his wife or my sisters. So when we presume that men would be like this and patriarchy is essentially a male thing, that is not true.
No, it's not.
It's a societal thing. Women and men are part of that society. Men and women together form that society, instill those values, and perpetuate those values.
Right.
So it's not about men versus women. So my dad was very cool, Abba, and I think a whole lot of who I am is because of him. And thank God for that. And I always go out and I tell, I speak in my community and I say, more than a Muslim woman, a Muslim father, more than a Muslim mother, a Muslim father needs to care for the daughters, because there's only this much a Muslim woman will be able to do.
Right.
She will have a lot of dreams for her daughter, for her son ahead. But it's no point if the husband doesn't support it. So I go out there and I say, all you folks there, all my younger brothers, all my friends here, it's on you to see how you take this forward. Similarly, I remember my brother, much older than me, so he was making some juice, and he was giving it to his wife, to my mom, and to the kids. And he used to always like to heat the milk water bottles and give it to the. And my mother felt, and every woman said, "Ye to aurton ka kaam hai, tum kyun kar rahe ho?" So it works the other way. And he says, you're depriving me of pleasures and joys of being a father. Something I want to do for my children. Why would I not want to do it? So you see, it's such a cage. People are stuck in the cage. ये काम महिलाएं करेगी,
हाँ.
जो औरत करेगी ये लड़की लोग का काम है, ये आदमी लोग का काम है. It's just how it is. And women themselves are a part of it. So if you're considered a bit of a freak if you don't enjoy cooking, if you want to say, hey, that's not very interesting, I want to do other things. Or just say, why can't my brother just make tea right now? Why should I do it? I don't feel like. It's just nobody says this. And people have just been taking it year after year, generation after generation, from the year of age of 10 to 80 or 100, it goes on. So that has got to give. And I'm sure a lot of young people are thinking differently. But again, there is a huge pressure, peer pressure, societal pressure, parental pressure, family pressure, all of that. The pressure of customs.
Right. Even if somebody wants to make that change, there is a stare. Like,
Yeah.
they don't want that person to take that effort to change.
Yeah, and it would be considered very freakish. You'll be a little bit of a freak if you said, hey, I don't think the way to a man's heart is through his stomach, they say.
Yes.
You remember that?
Yes.
So just look at all our proverbs.
Yeah.
And I get so mad, English and Hindi.
Yeah.
The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Arey bhaiya, way to my heart is through my stomach. I am hungry. Can somebody cook? And also it's true. If you see the data, the best chefs in the world and India are men. So what is this rubbish about only women wanting to cook? And that heartfelt desire to get a man is through food. I mean, I would like to get a man or, find my husband through my acumen, my prowess, my love, my affection, all that I can contribute to our lives together, instead of, yes, I will be a good cook and that will make me a very good wife. And my Sasuma will be very happy with me.
Yeah.
You know,
That is the wish.
Talia, it's like that. I mean, we have to get out of this extremely daft and dumb mindset.
Right.
You know, it's almost very rustic, like very medieval. What about individuals? And which is why there is a lot of unhappiness. Fine, I do understand in arranged marriages, there are very few divorces because people are scared of the family structure and all, and I'm happy about that. But there's a lot of unhappiness because nobody's ever asked that girl, that young woman, do you want to do something apart from that? Nobody's asked that poor groom, do you want a wife who's just cooking for you?
That is another point that I was about to
Men, boys and girls, men and women, they have so much to do. See, all over the world. People want to do wonderful things together. They just don't want to live in a structured, regimented way. They want to travel, they want to write books, they want to work together, they want to start new activities leading to economic, startups and so many things. They can do so much together. Social activity, economic activity,
Right.
something leading to a beautiful startup with a great design, with both of them and others friends can do. But they're just stuck. So this has got to change. And I think times are such that it's changing.
Yeah, we are evolving, of course. And I think things will get only better with the upcoming generation.
Yes. So nobody asks that poor guy, do you want a wife like that? He might just get very bored. And I have so many friends, my guy friends, who tell me, I don't know, I want to tell her not to be like this, to take more interest, but she's just so stuck with it. Please talk to her, to just tell her to do, because there is a there has to be a meeting ground, and it just can't be the roles are defined. Men and women have to talk, have to share, have to do things together, right? They can't just, that the man is a provider and the woman is a nurturer. Those are very real things. Nobody's denying that. Woman is a nurturer, and woman very often is a provider. If this was totally true, and let's go with it because this is how our anatomies are, we are made for this, right? So let's go with this, okay? Let's play along. ठीक है, सही बात है. It's a woman who gives birth,
Right.
and she has that sole prerogative or privilege or the pride of giving birth to another being. And that remains a woman's prerogative or biological mandate, amongst many. So, and a man obviously would at that point of time be the provider, and a woman would be the nurturer. Tell me, I know at least, if not 100, all the domestic staff in Mumbai, Delhi, all the people I know, it is the woman who is bringing up the children. She has a drunk husband somewhere else,
Right.
who doesn't help. Every time is the same story.
Yeah.
So he's not even being a provider. So she says, what can I do? I have to support my children. Just go out there. It's a reality.
So many-
Let's not run away from it. So great. So you don't want to be a provider. She obviously can be the only nurturer. But she also has to provide for herself and the children and even you. So that's what. So I think the society has puts too much on a woman.
Right.
Many years back in your age, I was from Jamia Mass Comm and I passed out, and I did a very interesting program, and I was very fascinated by a French director called Jean Rouge. It was cinema verite. You make films with a difference. And I went around asking this question all over, and I said, what kind of a man do you want? To all the young girls out there, and even the mothers-in-law to be and mothers, what kind of a son-in-law would you want? And I also would like to ask, I also went to ask this question. I mean, I went around asking this question to men and women, young boys and girls, that what kind of a boy do you want? What kind of a girl would you desire? What makes a good daughter-in-law or a wife? And it was the same. It was the same every time. Every young woman wanted a man who would be well settled. It didn't matter what he looked like. And as that's perhaps the only thing, and that she would feel accepted. there in the, and that somehow you would like her for who she was, and that you would be well settled, and that's it. Every man, so the girl had to be extremely good looking. One, she had to be very well brought up. Two, she had to come from a certain great family. Fourth, she had to be like a good girl. If she has to marry me, if she has to be bahu of the house, then she must be a good girl with
No
good morals, no vices. And then I said, great, so that's how you'll get married. And I said, and how do you make the marriage work, after this? It says, again, it's a woman's responsibility. How she stays with me, how she looks after my
How she
family.
makes her place in the family.
Yeah, how she makes her place in the family, how she learns to adjust with everybody, like this angel, and how she becomes this extended domestic help for all my family members, and that so she has to be great looking, comes from a good family, have it all to first get noticed by the boy, and then after that to keep the marriage lasting so that he doesn't run away and have affairs. She also must maintain herself in a very beautiful form. She must always look. And she should be this picture of piety at home, not say a word, just cook effortlessly, produce babies effortlessly, bring them up. And that's the sole purpose of her life. I mean, can you imagine the entitlement of that young guy?
Yeah.
And I met so many like that. And can you see just the psychological compulsions of a young woman? I mean, all the girls that I met, they all, I'm sure, had dreams. They all had their minds. They wanted to do so much, but they were under pressure that, hey, I'm 19. Hey, I'm 20. Hey, I'm 22. My parents are looking. God, I hope I find somebody half decent. God, I hope he's well settled so my parents are not worried. I hope he looks after me. I hope I'm treated well. I mean, can you imagine? I don't think it's fair. And this has happened 9 out of 10 times. I mean, all the friends that I know, the expectation from girls, women is just a lot more than.
But ma'am, now women are taking stand, I think.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I took a stand in my life over many, many things. And I think it started when, it's so when in places like Kanpur and when you go to Nainital and, for a holiday and, some of us studied there also. So we'd go up and down and people misbehave. In a train, somebody would um, grope you or touch you in the most unsavory manner. And you're a young girl, you can't protect yourself, and your folks are away, and all kinds of things happen. They say filthy things to you. It hurts you. It hurt my pride as a young girl. And I remember somebody asked me this question: what was your act of defiance? When do you think you that was that one act of rebellion? And you know what I said? When I was tired of being looked at, I would sit in a rickshaw like that, covering my knees that koi dekh na le, because my socks would be till here, my skirt would be till here. So I'd pull it and I said, nobody should look at me. There would be people from here and there, scooters, motorbikes, cars, all religions, all regions, all castes perhaps, just wanting to look if they can glance at this little piece of flesh. It's there, it's a reality. Go there and you'll know it. I'm sure it's changed. I'm sure things have changed a lot. But this was a reality. You ask anybody, they'll tell you this. And it just hurt me so much. And I remember my first act of defiance was that in a train, we were going from one place to the other, and I was looking for my mom, and I was helping with the bags, asking the coolie to put it there, and just taking care of my mom to enter the train. And somebody groped me and touched me in a very weird, funny manner. It was just I felt very violated and horrified. And I just kept quiet because this is what happens. And then I said, no. I went back. I saw that man, I looked at that man in his eyes, stared at him, caught hold of him, his collar, and I said, kabhi aage nahi karna. And literally with my foot, I kicked him like that. Don't you ever do that. Kabhi mere saath nahi karna. Samajh mein aaya? And just that anger, and he saw that anger. So I was barely 13. He would have been like a 20, 30, 40, I have no idea. I said, don't you ever do that. And just that gave me so much power.
Strength, yeah.
So, we never think we have that power, but keep that anger alive. That anger has to be harnessed into a very powerful emotion that will take you very far.
Right. So, ma'am, your father was the founder of an Urdu newspaper.
Yes,
So,
yes.
did that inspire you to pursue a career in journalism?
I think it must have been, I was very interested because I had a very curious mind. I was always asking questions that would annoy everybody. Like, why do we do that? Why do we do this? Why is my name after my father's and not my mother's? My mother kept me in her, we used to call it stomach. We didn't know any better. We didn't know the word womb. तो पेट में तो मम्मी ने रखा था इतने साल, वो क्यों है? अच्छा ये बाहर क्यों इतने शादी ब्याह में रोड्स को क्यों कवर कर रहे हैं? हम लोग कैसे जाएँगे? उनको सिर्फ अपनी फ़िक्र है, हमारी फ़िक्र नहीं है। And things like that, I had too many questions. And when women my mother's age come over, we call them khala, auntie,
Yes.
masi. But the lady who works in the house, who's a house help, who's a cook, she's also mommy's age. Why don't I call her auntie? उनको भी बोलना चाहिए, उम्र तो वही मम्मी की उनकी। तो उनको भी मैं खाला बोलूँ या आंटी बोलूँ, उनको मैं सिर्फ नाम से क्यों बोलती हूँ? Then I realized it's not a function of age, but of economic class.
Class, yes.
That's why. So I said, no, it's not okay. And then another thing that really bugged me was उनके प्लेटें अलग होंगी, खाना अलग होगा, सब घरों में होता है। क्यों? जब धुल जाता है तो वही हो जाता है। भई आप धोएँगे पानी से तो अक्ल कहाँ गई? So I was very logical. In that sense, extremely scientifically minded.
That is very common
Yeah.
even today. Most of the households practice this habit.
And I heard from a friend, and she said that, oh, so this friend of mine from a top Brahmin family and very dear friend of mine, she said, oh, her bhabhi has such a tough time. She's newly married, but she used to get up at 5. And I said, why? They said, oh, she has to get up at 4 or 5 because my parents only want her to switch on the geyser plug.
Oh my God.
I said, but why can't anyone else? He said, मेरे तो स्कूल हैं, उनका ये है, एंड जो घर की मेड है वो तो उस क्लास की नहीं है, तो वो छू ना सकती। मैंने कहा, बॉस, we cannot be so dumb. Sorry. So this was like, of course, I'm talking about things that happened 20 years back,
Yeah.
and 25 perhaps and more. But I mean, like, what the hell? I said, this can't be true. थोड़ी तो अक्ल होनी चाहिए भाई। अक्ल है ना, इस्तेमाल कर लो। इतना मुश्किल काम नहीं है। सोचो, दिमाग दिया है, ऊपर वाले नहीं दिया है। जिस अल्लाह में, जिस ईश्वर में बिलीव करते हो, अक्ल लगा लो, सोच लो। So in that sense, and I'm still like that. And I see young people, and I just said, so it's nothing to do with age, let me tell you. I meet a lot of people who are in their 20s and 30s and are such fuddy-duddies. They want to do exactly how their parents have been. Oh, I was sent there and I'm studying in this school and they have this thing in this Ivy League college. And I find them so pathetic because they've just been brought up a certain way, to be a certain way. And they're stuck in this little cage of theirs. So it's either you are this way or you're not. And if you're not, you use your brains and just try not to be, because that is not how you want to live in this world. At least you should try to provide equity and equality, or at least have that notion as a good notion in your head,
Well, I'm talking about equality as on date. Where do you think our country stands?
I think our country has moved ahead. And if you really were to ask me, our country has some of the best legislation. So much so that it's it's becoming anti-men in terms of many matters. And that's also true. That's also reality. And I do think that we have the top, when it comes to crimes against women, so is there. I think it's the government can do this much, the police can do this much, but societies,
We can do the
communities, they do much more. So what is going on in a house can only be decided by the parents, by the nani dadis, and चाचा चाचीज, मामा मामीज, वो डिसाइड करेंगे। अब आप स्कूल में वो बच्चा कुछ सीख ले, बच्ची कुछ सीख ले, लेकिन घर तो आना पड़ेगा। That becomes the first unit of conditioning and one of the most powerful ones. School is the second, and all of that. So it's like that.
Ma'am, you were a news anchor at Star News for almost
Yes.
15 years of your career.
So Star News was like a great, completely brilliant channel. And I'm telling you about this. 2003 is when we launched it, and I was the debut anchor. Imagine, way back, just after my Jamia, my master's in mass communication, and a couple of years in the US when I got married. And then I was in 2003 in Mumbai, and I was, luckily for me, Star happened. And I said, wow, because all the channels are in Delhi and I was married in Mumbai. So also when you get relocated, everything changes, right? And it's always a woman who relocates. I mean, 10 out of 10 times. So I said, wow. And that I was a debut anchor for Star Network. One brilliant, great, fantastic place to be at that point of time. It has now become ABP News, but it was Star. So essentially, there was, at that point of time, there was Z and there was Aaj Tak and there was Star News.
And Desh Videsh was very, very popular.
Very popular.
Everybody used to
Absolutely.
watch.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Desh Videsh was very popular. We did so many stories. So, I was a reporter and a producer and I was an anchor. So I like to go and do stories because my thing was that you just can't sit and just be an anchor. And because I was trained in production, small things like, it's just not about mics and um, the cables. It's like what the lighting is like, what are the arrangements made, what are the logistics like, how we do edit, how do we not, and just handling like a 5 cam shoot. So as producers you learn that and Jamia teaches you that.
Right.
So Masscom Jamia was this very prestigious institute, where we taught, and to do a master's there was like a fabulous, and we learned so much. Everything, the whole world of visuals, just the whole grammar of cinematography is beautiful. So I'm very enchanted by that, cinema and all of that.
Yeah.
And I will go back to it in some way or the other, sooner than later, I hope. So it was great because all that I felt bad about as a child, as a youngster in Kanpur, seeing my brothers and what access they had and me, and just the limited choices of my life, uh, it stayed with me, the pain of it. And also, let me tell you, I was also very grateful because there were so many girls out there, my immediate neighbor, who was my age. At the age of 14, she had not stepped out of a house even once. She had never been to a school. There would be a Maulvi Saab who would go to her house and teach her. The only time she had gone out of her house was one day when she had come to meet me up for Eid and at our place, and once when her sister got married.
Oh my God.
So I felt so privileged.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But at least I had school to go to. But so I had to just be a voice, not just for myself, for the 13-year-old, 14-year-old Shazia who really dreamt and wished, oh, I wish my life was different. I mean, all that I dream of is not possible.
But
So,
ma'am, what made you feel that way? Because you said you got a very liberal thinking father. So,
no, I mean, relatively speaking.
right.
But it's a very typical Muslim household in a very conservative area, Kanpur. So, I mean, it was, even the boarding schools and all, only the brothers went to.
Right.
Sisters did not. So it was very typical what you wear, what you don't, how you conduct yourself,
Okay.
It was there for everybody to know and see. You would never. I remember one of my cousins and also one of my sisters had gone to with her friends to a cinema hall. My folks got to know about it, and my brothers who studied in Doon School and all of that, they went to grab her from the hall, bring her out, and take her back.
Okay.
So it was just not allowed. आप अपनी औकात में रहें, घर में रहें. बाहर से निकलें, अपना सर ढाकें. बहुत बड़ी बात है कि अम्मी बुर्का पहनती हैं, आप नहीं पहन रही हैं. आपको पढ़ने लिखने दिया गया है, तमीज़ से आप पेश आएँ. ये आपका काम है, ये आपका. तो nobody was allowed to think big like that. It was just not on. It's just the culture, you see. It's not your dad won't change that, can't change that because the whole culture, all your aunts and everybody, every woman has a head covered.
Right.
Is wearing a burqa outside your on the roads. What do you do? It's just the way it is. Every shadi you go to, every public place you go to, this is how it is. So it's just a very different culture. It's more cultural than even religious or anything, and just the whole society thinks a certain way. So it was like that. No, I was not allowed to have dreams. I couldn't even imagine that I'll ever go and study in a college outside of Kanpur. It was closed for me. I had to fight
You fought your way. Yeah.
every time. I had to fight and I had to hide and I had to do a whole lot of things that a other girl would not have to do to be able to go there.
Right.
I'm writing my book. I'm writing about all this.
Oh wow, that is interesting. And what is the title?
I'm calling it Abba's daughter.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll definitely read it.
Yeah, you must. And and also because it's my thing to all the young Muslim men and older Muslim men out there, that there's so much you can do for your daughters. Please do it. Don't bother about what has been told to you about this, that, and the other. Today, what is needed? Go do it.
Just do.
Your daughter needs you.
And ma'am, how were those 15 years at Star News?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, kick ass.
You miss those days?
They also, so I saw people, some people don't think, even if they come from very progressive backgrounds and all, it's a very typical way of thinking and doing. If you have a sense of inquiry and an original take, you do things differently. I'll give you an example. Listen to this. There was some Miss India from Jammu or Miss Jammu, I don't know. There, and she was a wonderful girl. Apparently, somebody had blackmailed her and made a horrible video on her. And that was doing the rounds both on Aaj Tak and Star and other channels at that point of time. And they would blur some and say, oh, see what's happening. And it had become a big story. A part of me said, something is not all right about this. My wonderful correspondent, so I'm an anchor. Imagine you can make a difference if your brain is working and you're angry about how it's being shown. You will think of a new way to deal with it. So I told, so what I did was I rang up Sant, his name is Sant Kumar Sharma, very senior journalist from Jammu reporting. And I called him up. I said, why on earth are we after this girl? I mean, it must be horrifying for this video to be going on. We're going on playing the video. So it's like a titillate in a different way. Video dikhao bhi aur kaho kitni buri cheezein ho rahi hain. You get both. And media does that very often. So I was very angry. I called up Sant. I said, well, how come we're not talking about the men behind the video? Why is the focus on this girl?
Yeah.
Well, she said, oh, the girl has been arrested. They're hassling her. She's in a... Why is she being arrested? So at that point of time, there was a SITA, Suppression of Immoral Traffic Act at that point of time. So you should know your law. I looked it up. I went on air all prepared. We changed the story. I said, Sant, I don't want to know about what's happening to this girl. I don't want to take her name. हमें कोई कौन थे वो आदमी किसने वो वीडियो बनाया है कौन लोग इसको डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं कौन वो पुलिस वाले हैं जो परेशान कर रहे हैं वो कौन आदमी हैं जिन्होंने बनाया था और उनको पकड़ा क्यों नहीं गया है So we changed the story. It was something very basic. It only came because of a thought in my head that things can't be this way.
Yeah. You took a stand for
I took a stand. It changed. Another story, very important. I'm an anchor. I used to do a lot of legal stuff I would do. So I had a lot of big stories I did. I mean, I'm very lucky to have gotten so much of wonderful work, So there's a story doing the rounds. So there is this Shanti Mukund nursing home. It's a famous case. A young nurse was literally blinded by a ward boy or some hospital staffer who tried to rape her. And oh, it's very bad. Something happens to me. Give me a minute. I get very upset when I see.
Yeah.
So you have to be always emotional. Emotion is good.
Because
Don't ever become too grown up and mature. It doesn't help.
Yeah.
Always be like this. It should hurt you every time it happens to you or it happens to anybody. That is a pain you should feel. I'm feeling it. I'm sure you're feeling it too. So imagine what she must have gone through. The case was going on, and strangely, the judge received some note from the rapist slash murderer, because they were tempted to murder her, and all of that, that, oh, I'm ready to marry her. And the judge looks at it apparently, because my reporter was in the court at that point of time, and I said, and I'm saying, तो वहाँ क्या हो रहा है इस मामले में और क्या अभी तो जजमेंट आ रहा है तो उसने कहा अजीब व गरीब एक चीज़ हुई है यहाँ पे उन्होंने ये भेजा है वो जो आदमी है जिसने वो लड़की को वो किया था मतलब ब्लाइंड उसको उसके आइस को में कुछ भोंका था व्हाटएवर और उसको वो देख भी नहीं पा रही वो लड़की अपने फादर के साथ बैठी है तो वो कह रहा है वो उससे शादी करने को तैयार है So I said, and I said this, I mean, I don't know what the video is. And I said, तो क्या वो जज अगर उनकी बेटी के साथ कोई रेप करने की कोशिश करता या रेप करता तो क्या वो अगर वो आदमी तैयार होता उनसे शादी करने के लिए तो वो मंजूरी दे देते उनकी बेटी मान जाती Now the reporter out there is scared. She's in a court. She's in front of the court. It can be seen, a lot of contempt of court भी लोग कहते हैं ऐसे कि कैसे बोल सकते हो, you never. And I said, no, it's not okay. I said, so, I mean, if you have a daughter, I have a daughter, if this happens to us, will we marry a rapist? And you know why I said that? Because then I was in Jamia Mass Comm and I had studied this very seriously and thoroughly. There's a film called Betaj Badshah, in which I think it's Anil Kapoor, I'm not sure, who actually rapes somebody and then offers to marry her. And that the woman thinks, oh, अब मेरी इज्जत तो रही नहीं, तो मैं इसी से शादी कर लेती हूँ. I mean, what nonsense is this? Can you imagine how disempowering is?
Yeah.
So then I started thinking very seriously about this. Body, rape, body shaming, man as a perpetrator, aggressor, a woman's constant vulnerability. मैंने बड़े गहराई से सोचा. तो मैंने कहा इस पर तो कुछ काम करना पड़ेगा. तो मतलब सोचिए, मतलब वो आदमी रेप भी करेंगे और एहसान करेंगे, शादी करेंगे. क्यों कोई इतने क्रिमिनल से शादी करना चाहेगा? But so we have put up this such a premium, this whole thing na, woman chastity, oh, rape, and कि there's there are proverbs, you're talking proverbs, a way to a man's heart. In Hindi also there are. उसने मुंह काला किया या उसका मुंह दिखाने के काबिल ना रही. I said, change it. Let's change the language. उस आदमी ने अपना मुंह काला किया, उस आदमी ने अपने घर वालों का मुंह काला किया. वो बदमाश कौन है दिखाइए, उसके माँ बाप कौन है. जो आदमी ने ये किया है, जो रेपिस्ट है या बलात्कारी है या परेशान कर रहा है या मोलेस्टर है, वो कौन आदमी है, किस घर से आता है, उसके माँ बाप कैसे दिखते हैं, उसके टीचर्स भाई बहन कैसे दिखते हैं. Shame the man talked. Here a woman is getting shamed again and again. So in that sense, I have done very crazy things, but only because I had an original take. And I'm very grateful to those years of, hardship as a youngster that I felt when I wanted to do so many things and I could not because of the way I grew up. Whether it was games or sports or travel or dream of going to a college.
I think that made you more sensitive towards such.
Sensitive, yeah, absolutely. And tough also, you see, because now I wasn't just speaking for this young, suffering Shazia who dreamt of driving a car, going out and, running a company and being out there. And now I was thinking of a whole lot of 13-year-olds. There are millions Shazias out there, just like me, in every city, every religion, every caste, many countries who want a voice. So now I said, get over yourself, Shazia. We must also get over ourselves.
Yeah.
We can't keep talking about ourselves. Mere saath ye hua. Let's not do this constant Oprah Winfrey, this shrinking that is needed. No, get over it, man, woman, get out of it and start doing the next thing. So I just moved on and I said, this needs to be done. And since then, like Gandhi says, Mahatma Gandhi ji had said, your life is a message. My life is my message. That's how I lead my life.
Yeah. And ma'am, I think there was a turning point when you joined the Anna Hazare campaign.
Yeah.
How was that? I think that was the time when you decided to enter politics as well.
No, not at all. In fact, they're two different things.
Okay.
So when I joined the Anna Hazare movement, it was an apolitical movement. At that point of time, Arvind Kejriwal would swear, and he would swear on his children, कि हम लोग कभी राजनीति में नहीं जाएंगे. So we had no idea that would ever get into politics. We thought we were just putting pressure on a very corrupt government to be less corrupt. I personally thought corruption was like a major human rights issue. If the government has a certain mandate to look after people, has funds for hospitals, medicines, medical stuff, and everybody is stealing that. There was a huge thing going on with a big medical scam in UP. When the chief medical officer was bumped off also, there was just the corruption there was at that point of time. And NHAI and a lot of things are happening. And of course, UPA 2 was stories filled with corruption. So I could never go to Congress. I mean, I'm very clear about that. Unlike Arvind Kejriwal, who decided to join hands with Congress just after having won a few seats, So, well, that's that. I just felt that I need to do more. And I saw this bunch of people trying to do something. And I said, it's okay. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I have a great job. I get a lot of money. I'm in the studio. Somebody looks after your hair, your makeup. And it's a great life, But I want to do more. And I just jumped in. I don't think anchors today or yesterdayers would think of that, because you just give up everything and I had a lot in me to go back to TV too. And in Star News, I'd just finished. I mean, after Star News, I was just doing a documentary then, and I was all set to get another job. Then Anna movement happened, and I said I'll help out. And then Anna Hazare movement. After a couple of years, Arvind decided to make it into a political party, which is Aam Aadmi Party.
Right.
That was more than 11, 12, 13. It was more than 2.5 years after the Anna movement. So we had no idea it's going to be political. I never thought I'll be in politics. My life journey has just been like that. It's been like the river, and I'm just going along with it. I have no idea what's coming next. So, it's like pretty crazy. Obviously, not a great planner. But then I think even if I planned it, it would not have worked out. Because if you plan something, does it always work out that way? No. You don't know what life has in store for you. Strangely, and ask anybody that. So, अच्छा हुआ ना ज़्यादा planning नहीं की.
Yeah.
Planning करती भी तभी भी कुछ फर्क
I
नहीं
never
पड़ता.
thought I'll be doing podcast someday. Never
Yeah?
thought. I'm very camera shy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I
And you
think
there you are.
yeah.
Oh, you never wanted to. You never thought you'll be on camera.
No. I'm super camera shy. I never thought I have the thing in me to even take interviews. So this was a good surprise for me that life had to.
Yeah. People get so stuck living in a cage made by themselves that they have decided what they can do, what they can't do, what is possible, what is not. Once you take away that need for certainty, the need to know your future, and you say, hey, it's a game of probability and possibility.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing. You go ahead. And you don't know the pleasant surprises. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah. Life
Isn't it?
always gives you a lesson even if you're losing something.
Absolutely. So like Anna Hazare movement, Aam Aadmi Party was such a tight slap because what I thought it turned out to be so different. In fact, I could see it. So now what everybody in Delhi and in India can see and read about Kejriwal, imagine I saw it 10 years back. And by that time, I'd already worked with him for 2-3 years to know exactly what the man was all about. So complete crook. So that's that.
And I'm switching to BJP then. How was it? Like, what was
So I left in a very tearful, sad state of mind because I never thought I'd given up so much of myself to the party, to the movement, India Against Corruption, Anna Hazare movement, and then suddenly it becomes a party. And everyone else, if you see other journalists, they came in only when it became a party. They were not there beforehand.
Right.
Nobody really gave up their career. So all the people there, so nobody did. So I'm the only person who had a career going, and who had been on television a million times as an anchor, who didn't need to need any media publicity to get into it. You see, and who had a proper job and was capable of finding another. So I can say that about myself. So for others, it might be a media thing, rush. But for me, when I joined the movement, I thought there'll be no media because I was giving up a whole career ahead of me of anchoring, of various things. So yeah, I've been very foolish also in that sense, a bit. Sometimes idealism borders on foolishness. You're not very smart that way, but it's okay. So price I'm willing to pay.
So which ideology or
And then you know what happened? Then I left Aam Aadmi Party. Some people stayed back कि भाई इनको राज्यसभा मिलेगी. मैंने कहा मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए. I left. And that was in March. And then the next year, after a whole year, I waited out. I waited out and wondered where I'd go. I would never go to Congress. You now tell me, Smriti, one thing. Now, what bothers me a lot? What bothers Shazia Elmi the most? What bothers her and what has brought her here is the household she lived in, the way certain opportunities which should be equal for all were not given to her, that she could not do what she wanted to do ever in terms of her desires, dreams, aspirations, vis-a-vis education, travel, how she wanted to lead her life. Most of her decisions in her life would be taken by others, as is the case, at least in my society. अम्मी अब्बा डिसाइड करेंगे, वो अब फिर शौहर डिसाइड करेगा कि तुम काम कर सकती हो कि नहीं. अगर उनके घर वालों को मंजूर हो तब कर लेना, नहीं तभी अब ज़्यादा पढ़ो लिखो भी नहीं. ज़्यादा पढ़ो लिखोगी तो फिर शादी कौन करेगा? वो ज़्यादा पढ़ लिख गई है लड़की, रिश्ता मिलना मुश्किल हो.
ज़्यादा पंख लग गए लड़की.
पंख लग गए लड़की के, तो पंख लग जाएंगे तो फिर उड़ जाएगी लड़की. तो पकड़ के बैठो उसको, उसके पर जो है मतलब कतरते रहो ताकि वो उड़े ना कभी. हमें तो उड़ना था. तो हम तो प्रॉब्लम थे, प्रॉब्लम चाइल्ड, देयर आर प्रॉब्लम एडल्ट. तो this is what it was. And I just felt that I waited out and I said, what do I want to say? And I really wanted to say this, and I'm saying it, whether it's triple talaq or waqf and all that goes on. And a lot of people say, अरे आप बीजेपी में इसलिए कह रही है, पर मेरी तो जिंदगी है. मैंने तो अपनी अम्मी को बुरखे में देखा है, तो मुझे तकलीफ होती है उससे. मेरी लड़ाई है इससे, हिजाब से. मेरी जिंदगी वो रही है, मैंने उसको बहुत क्लोजली देखा है, तो मैं क्यों नहीं बोलूंगी. अच्छा, टेल मी विच पार्टी वुड allow me besides BJP to speak on, to do away with something obnoxious and pernicious as triple talaq? Which party would? Because every other party wants that. They want the votes from the same people who impose this, the Muslim clergy. Which party would allow me to speak against Muslim clergy which works specifically against the interest of women? No other party would. Could I go to Samajwadi Party? Could I go to Congress Party? No. So I'm actually living my life talking about all that I want to speak about. This is it. So it's like a complete match.
Right.
Like ऐसा perfect match हो गया मेरा तो. मुझे इस पर ही बोलना था. फिर कहते हैं, बहुत से लोग कहते हैं जो बीजेपी को पसंद नहीं करते हैं, देखिए दिक्कत बहुत है, हिंदुओं में घूंघट की है और पल्लू की प्रथा है और क्रिश्चियंस में ये है. मैंने कहा तो आप लोग बात कीजिए, मैं तो मुसलमान हूँ ना, मैं तो अपने धर्म की बात कर सकती हूँ जो मैं जानती हूँ. मैं उसकी बात क्यों करूँ? मैं तो उनकी बात करूँगी ना जो बेबी बाजी जो आती थी, जुबैदा खाला जो होती थी, जो मैं देखती थी उनको हर रमज़ान में कुछ पैसे मांग रही हैं, या और औरतों को बुरखे में आ रही हैं कि कुछ पैसे मिल जाएं, शौहर ने छोड़ दिया है, कहाँ जाएंगे 4-4 बच्चे लेकर. मैंने कहा मैं तो उन्हीं की बात करूंगी. अब इससे भाजपा को फायदा हो रहा है, तो भाजपा को फायदा होना हो, मुझे और मेरी रूह को फायदा हो रहा है. My soul feels, I mean, satiated. Oh, thank God, मैं कुछ तो कर रही हूँ जिसने मुझे तकलीफ दी है. I'm fulfilling, it's a कर्ज that I'm fulfilling. So tell me, there's no other party for me. I don't have a choice.
Right.
BJP is the only party that would allow me to speak on all the issues that have hurt me and that impacts so many women. But because of this fake secularism, nobody wants to talk about it. Because everybody wants to be very cool, you know. Oh, these are secular people and those are communal people, without even knowing what they're talking about. So I wish they knew what they were talking about, you know.
Right. So, on which ideology of BJP do you most strongly stand by?
So I'm a very hardcore nationalist. You know, I'm one of those people. Even in, so you know, your true character is when nobody's looking, and that's what you are. Korea, Seoul, I went to, and it was so for some strange reason, I always keep traveling. I have invitations from all over the world. It is just something in my patri or whatever, you know, Smriti, you know more about that than I do. So मैं सोल गई थी साउथ कोरिया किसी कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए. वहाँ पे I saw some Pakistani men, 300 or 400, saying things about Kashmir, showing pictures which are not from Kashmir after the abrogation of 370. And I said, this is a lie. And I was just visiting. Those who probably had work permits. Apparently, there are a lot of Pakistani restaurateurs there, or, you know, people who work in whatever. So they attacked me and I attacked them and that thing. So I didn't even know, but that's what a कट्टर देशभक्त है. मुझे कुछ हो जाता है. As a, I used to be a head girl of my school and I used to carry the flag and I used to march, you know. And I remember, you will not believe it, 15th August को they have such छुट्टी, मतलब छुट्टी का मूड होता है सब, all the kids are hanging around and it's a half day and we do the march past and we hear all these songs ना, मेरे वतन के लोगों ज़रा याद करो कुर्बानी, and you know, ए वतन, we all hear them, you know. So पुराने नए, I have to get tears in my eyes. मुझे पता नहीं मुझे क्यों आ रहा है, मुझे बहुत कुछ लगता
Feel
था.
goosebumps and yeah.
Something used to happen to me कि कुछ मुझे हो रहा है, पता नहीं क्या हो रहा है. Can't figure this out. And then, you know, sometimes just play the old footage in DD and even, you know, India trains में लोग जा रहे हैं, बहुत ही गरीब इंडिया, पुराने महात्मा गांधी जी के कुछ रील्स से, उनको देख के कुछ हो जाता था मुझे. पता नहीं क्या होता था, but I said, I have to do something. This is it. So this is all that propelled me. I'm very emotional about this. So BJP again is why I know this is the only party that will never compromise with the interests of the country. Never, ever. No matter what anybody's politics is or not. I mean, उनके भी अंदर वो सब है जो मेरे अंदर है कि भाई हमारा देश. मुझे फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. देखो, रिलीजन्स में एक ख़ास रिलीजन की हूँ, एक ख़ास प्रांत की हूँ, एक मैं भाषा बोलती हूँ या 2-3 बोलती होंगी. लेकिन भाई देश के बारे में बहुत सिंपी हूँ। मैं बहुत जज्बाती हूँ, देखो इंडिया के बारे में मुझे बहुत लगता है, बुरा लगता है अपने देश को लेकर कि हम क्या-क्या कर सकते हैं और हम क्यों फँसे हैं इन सब चीज़ों में। इट अफेक्ट्स मी। पहलगाम अटैक्स,
Yeah, I was just
it is so hurtful for me to see those women. मैंने एक तस्वीर देखी, सबने देखी होगी, शुभम द्विवेदी की आपने देखी होगी। सोचो एक लड़का शादी अपने हनीमून के लिए गया हुआ है, पूरे घर वाले हैं, उसकी शादी तो 1.5 साल पहले हुई थी शुभम की, और वो जो मैं तस्वीर देख रही हूँ, इतनी स्वीट फोटोग्राफ है। हिज वाइफ इज लाइक दिस एंड ही इज लाइक दैट, होल्डिंग हैंड्स। आई कांट इमेजिन क्या हो रहा होगा उसके साथ, सोचिए आप। तो इट इज वेरी दीज थिंग्स रियली हर्ट मी. And I mean, if it's nothing to do with religion, I mean, but it is to do with religion over there. And imagine what they would be going through. So I feel very upset about it. It really bothers me. I'm kind of obsessed with learning about this. What is it that make men like monsters to want to do this? And this whole Hindu-Muslim thing, I mean, how sad is it?
it is very sad.
This whole partition, where we come to, every day these discussions. I mean, it's very sad for me. And I would think I must play my role as a Muslim woman who's come from the heartland literally, and who must do something to make bridges, to speak to each other, my own people कि यार कुछ सोचो तो। वो मतलब हमारे भाइयों के बारे में हम क्यों ऐसा सोच सकते हैं? And the other side also, because everybody is getting so extremist, you see. So no, there are two very extreme sides right now. And talk to both of them that this is not going to take us anywhere. So मुझे लगता है वो मेरा रोल है और मैं उसको ज़रूर निभाऊंगी.
So, ma'am, in light of this attack, do you think are we doing enough? And whatever we are doing, is that right?
Of course, I think we need to do much more. We are doing a lot. For instance, Indus Water Treaty has never been put in abeyance, has never been suspended before.
Yeah.
1965, 1971, 1999, 2016, 2019. That is Uri and Pulwama.
Yeah.
Look at the provocation, but we never touched it. But this was,
Too much.
yeah. So we need to not just do that, but we need to do a lot of things. And we are doing a lot of things. Look at diplomatic relations down to a minimum. Look at the visa situation.
Yeah.
We've just bought 26 Rafale M jets. And, so whether as for our Navy, on हमारी नौसेना के लिए INS Vikrant and INS Vikramaditya. And the power of that, if you remember 1971, what our Indian Navy did to Pakistan. So there's lots going on. A lot of things maybe I wouldn't know because only a few people would know. There are few things I might know, but I should never share because this is something to do with my country and it's this thing. So I think, yes, you see, it can never be enough because we can never get those lives back.
Right.
वो तो नहीं हो सकता. So I think, and also a lot is going on, I think, even as we talk, NIA is combing, they're combing operations, search operations going on. So lots is going on. Of course, it'll never be enough, as I said, because we'll never get those 26 Indians back.
Right. It is indeed a very sad moment. One learning to the listeners, what would it be?
Accept yourself the way you are. You are shy, you are nervous, you are scared. It's all right. Now, these are not permanent ways to be. It's an emotion you're going through. So realize that this is another phase in your life and that do not decide anything about yourself before you've explored all possibilities. Not just that, don't let others decide your life and the title of your life. You will write the title of your life.
That-
Think of what title you want to be and work accordingly. It doesn't matter.
And what would be the title of your life?
My title would be There's No Going Back.
Wonderful. That is amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am. It was so nice meeting you and talking to you. I feel inspired and
I'm so happy to meet you.
Thank
There is so much of sincerity and authenticity in the way you speak, in your questions, and in your eyes. You'll go very far.
oh, thank you so much.
Yes, and these are all wonderful qualities to have. There's no standard way to be. As some management honchos will have you believe.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you're liking our content, please do like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have someone who will be a good guest for me, please do drop in the comments. My name is Priti. Stay tuned until next time.